Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Daily Triple, your no shit gaming news video. That's 3 news stories in one video with zero faff. Warcraft is one of gaming's most popular and successful franchises, but it will also go down as one of 2020's biggest controversies. Warcraft 3 originally came out in 2002, but Blizzard announced at BlizzCon 2018 that a remaster was coming with updated graphics. The remake was called Warcraft 3 Reforged and launched in January 2020 to the lowest ever Metacritic user score at the time. The score currently sits at 0.6, with users complaining about broken promises and missing features, and the game served as an omen of the shit show that 2020 was going to be. I'd probably say it has the #1 spot on the most controversial game of the year list, but I think this still ongoing fan reaction to The Last of Us 2 might take the W. According to a Reddit thread which has over 11,000 likes at the time of writing, even 10 months after release, Warcraft 3 Reforged is still missing central features of the original game. Okay, look, I know using Reddit for news is low-hanging fruit, but it's a Monday and it's my birthday tomorrow, so just give me a break. The post by user Angst sets the scene by listing the issues that caused the unmitigated disaster that the game turned out to be. Graphics weren't updated and in some cases were actually worse. Performance issues, only 3 missions were actually changed, no improvements to camera movement, animations or voice acting, and the EULA took away ownership of user-created maps. In creating this abomination, Blizzard also destroyed the original Warcraft 3, so if you wanted to play the original 2002 version in all its dated glory, you are shit out of luck. Many of the original features were also not present in the remake, which is the bare minimum you're supposed to do when you make a remake. You're meant to keep the good and fix the bad. I always thought that was reasonably simple, but apparently not. According to Angst, over its 10-month lifespan, the game has seen 8 patches, all of which have been focused on performance and technical issues, which is all well and good, but not a single one has reinstated any missing features, like ranked ladders or clans, both of which were previously announced. Currently, it is possible to play custom maps, but only in single player. My favourite zing in this whole post is where Angst says they made the exact same post back in May, which got 3.5 thousand upvotes, and all they changed this time around was the amount of time passed, the number of patches, and they removed a bit about lack of communication. The communication has been better, as they added a feature roadmap in May, an update on ranked play in July, an update on player profiles in August, and a world editor tutorial in August. When I say better, I mean by the smallest conceivable integer, as the feature roadmap and updates did not provide any timelines to hold them accountable, so it's just empty words, and the tutorial is something that anyone could do on YouTube, and there's been no communication since then. I was perfectly comfortable forgetting about this game and going on with my life, but clearly Blizzard have forgotten all about it too. I've never played any Warcraft games, so I do not have a dog in this fight at all, but it's staggering to see how little has been done to rectify such a monumental cock-up. Less than 2 months after the launch of Reforged, a fan mod popped up which solved many of the game's issues like ranked ladders, player profiles, and chat system. This UI mod, called W3 Champions, basically makes the menus look like they did in the original game. There's a link in the description if you want to download it. This is just yet another example of how fans can do the job better than the actual company making the damn thing. I don't doubt that there are some very hardworking devs there, but this is just another example of Activision Blizzard bleeding everything dry. It's a joke that Reforged launched in the state that it did, it's a joke that Blizzard broke so many promises, it's a joke that they burned the perfectly functional original game, and it's a joke that virtually nothing has been done to make the game into what it should have always been. And next up, everyone loves a bit of Pokemon, but as time goes on, character designs seem to get less and less original. One of the more iconic Pokemon from the old days is Abra, the floating psychic Pokemon. He's rather unassuming in his base form, but as he evolves into Kadabra and then Alakazam, he picks up some spoons and shit gets real. We all know once spooning starts, someone's getting f***ed. However, for years, Kadabra has been missing from Pokemon cards because the magician Uri Geller sued Nintendo for using his likeness. His likeness being that his whole shtick is that he bends spoons. That does sound like a bit of a stretch on its own, but the Japanese version of the Pokemon is young Geller, so the inspiration is pretty on the nose. Mechanically, losing Kadabra meant that when players used the Abra card, they would just skip straight into Alakazam, or the Alakazam Premium card could just be played outright. Now, 20 years on, Geller has publicly apologized to Nintendo and released his claim on the card, meaning that Kadabra can take his rightful place in card form. Geller explained himself in an email to thegamer.com. Due to the tremendous volume of emails I'm still getting begging me to bring back Kadabra/Young Geller, I sent a letter to the chairman of Nintendo giving them permission to relaunch the Uri Geller Kadabra/Young Geller worldwide. Then in a response to the article, he shared this additional statement on Twitter. I am truly sorry for what I did 20 years ago. Kids and grown-ups, I am releasing the ban. It's now up to Nintendo to bring my Kadabra Pokemon card back. It will probably be one of the rarest cards now. Much energy and love to all, and then a plug to his museum. This kind of apology is very rarely seen, especially when he was actually legally successful, so I just don't buy it. Call me a skeptic, but I definitely think there's another motive behind this, something he stands to gain. He literally plugs his museum in the post, so this whole thing is to boost his name for the time being to increase traffic to his site. I highly doubt that he dropped it out of the goodness of his heart, he just wants some attention so he can sell more of his stuff. To be honest though, I don't really blame him because he can gain from it and players get their card back, so it's a win-win. In his tweet he also mentions Kadabra cards being rare, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was all a move to drive up the price so that he could flog his personal stash. Perhaps this was all sparked in part by the recent public Logan Paul Pokemon thing. I don't really know what happened there beyond some accusations of selling fake cards and the whole thing being allegedly a scam, but I don't really care because anytime I hear that goon's name I immediately switch off. I've no doubt that some people either rolled their eyes or outright closed the video after hearing his name, and I totally don't blame you. For the meantime, it's unclear if or when we'll ever see Kadabra return to the card, but at least he's back where he belongs. And finally, much of the world may still be under various degrees of lockdown, but that hasn't stopped Nintendo pushing ahead with Super Nintendo World in Japan. The theme park now has an official opening date of February the 4th, 2021. Super Nintendo World will form part of Universal Studios Japan and will feature attractions like Mario Kart Roller Coaster, Bowser's Castle, and Mario Cafe. Japanese news media outlets have been invited to the park and have been sharing their impressions online. We can see an appropriately menacing statue of Bowser along with some Mario Kart trophies and some of the cars, but nothing actually in motion. The park was meant to launch alongside the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, but that hasn't gone ahead for obvious reasons. Japan's Olympic minister, which is a job I didn't know existed, said that the games will go ahead in 2021 no matter the cost, so it looks like Super Nintendo World is cleared to launch. The park may be called Super Nintendo World, but it is specifically focused on the Mario franchise, so don't expect to try and pull out the Master Sword, or fly Samus's ship, or beat the living shit out of Tom Nook for being a greedy little bastard. A Mario Kart roller coaster does sound pretty cool, but if you're not getting blue shelled out of nowhere, is it even Mario Kart? I'm not bitter, you're bitter. And that's your lot for today. If you enjoyed this no shit format, go ahead and give the video a like to give it a boost, hit subscribe and the bell if you want to stay up to date on all future installments. Toss a coin to your YouTuber over at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. That's all for today. I've been Henry Cooper. Bye for now.